It can be hard to figure out what's really healthy with all the conflicting media information these days. Saturated fat was really bad for you for a long time, and then all of a sudden, there's all this information coming out saying saturated fat is good. Coconut oil, it's been said to not be as good as you might have thought. There are certain camps that say meat is the best thing you could potentially eat, and other camps that say it's the worst thing you could ever eat. Fitness, should we exercise for 4 minutes or an hour? Should we do cardio or should we do strength? It can be very confusing if you're reading the media health information, but we're here to tell you not to be discouraged. Hi, it's Luci, your healthy lifestyle transformation coach, and I'm here today with Courtney Spouts. She's a senior at Taylor University in the area of exercise physiology, and Courtney is entrenched right now in doing research. We think you'd feel more confident in processing information from the media if you had a little bit of an idea about how research was done. Thanks for coming, Courtney.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So the media will take one piece of research that's very specific and put it out there to you guys to read, and it usually never takes into account that there are lots of other pieces of research about the same thing. And usually when a piece of news comes out, it's highlighted as if, oh, this is the new thing. This is actually what science is showing now. But that's not actually the case. The case is that it is one small piece of information in a much larger picture. So Courtney, let's say your professor told you to go and research this one subject. Let's just say it's coconut oil. Keeping this. Where would you even start?
Yeah, I would start on research sites. So there are many, Google Scholar, PubMed, there are many different research sites that you can go onto, and I would probably start off with just saying coconut oil, and then figuring out what past research has proven about it. And you look at everything that's out there, and there is a lot out there.
You would take both sides into account?
Yeah, and then you can start formulating a specific question or finding a hole in the research.
So there may be holes in the research.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're saying you would read all of the research out there, or at least get up to date on it, because there's so much research out there, and then you would figure out what little piece of research that you would do that could make the whole body of research better, or give a better picture of the question that's being asked.
And it's really good to look at studies that have been done in the past to see if you can change a little detail and see if it's still proven to be true or not.
Replication is a big deal in research, right? To make sure because one study is never perfect. We need to make sure you can get the results another time and another time after that.
So that it can be like built upon, and then you could actually put a foundation and say like coconut oil, good or bad for you.
The foundation meaning a lot of information so that you can actually make a good decision about it. It's never just one study is what we're saying. And that makes me think about some authors that will say to you that everything you knew about X is no longer true. This one thing is truth, and you should read what I have to say. And that is actually my pet peeve, because that's never the case, guys. I mean, just based on what we're talking about how research works, there's never one piece of research that'll change the whole system. And some authors will cherry pick from the research. That means they only pick the articles that support what they're trying to make you believe, and then they leave out the other articles that don't support it. And that happens a lot these days. It's not really regulated, and so whenever I see an extreme going one way or another with an author, if I wanted to pay attention to it, I would look at the articles that they were using as references and read how the research was done. Sometimes the research may have been done on one group of people, like diabetics or obese people, and it doesn't really apply to everybody. And other times the article will have been interpreted incorrectly by the author. And in fact, I did do that kind of an investigation on one paper that was sent to me online through a social media friend, specifically about coconut oil. And that's exactly what that author did. He picked specific pieces of research to support his theory, And he also misinterpreted some research. Of course, we have studied how to do research, so we can make those interpretations for ourselves. What does the average person do if they want to understand whether or not to believe someone? And I think that's where one needs to go to the major associations, you know, the American Heart Association, American Dietetics Association, American Diabetes Association, the CDC. Those are the big ones just off the top of my head. And also there are World Health Organizations in other countries as well that also do the research. One of the final points that this person made was that there are no longer any restrictions as to how much saturated fat you should be eating. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is really different from all the information I've been reading for years. So I went back to just double check it. And in fact, that wasn't the case at all. There were, I would say, about 15 agencies from different countries that still say we need to limit our saturated fat, and particularly to 10% of calories that we eat per day. And by the way, coconut oil, what would you say at this point? Is it good or bad for you?
Neither.
Neither?
Yeah. It's neither good nor bad. You shouldn't be drinking it every day.
You shouldn't be drinking it.
Yep, drinking it.
Right, I agree. Right, and that's kind of what the science is saying right now. You're not going to be in a bad place if you do eat it, but it's also not something that's being recommended to eat every day with every meal either, because of the saturated fat levels in coconut oil. Some of the fat of coconut oil is good and some of it is not so good, so kind of like moderation.
Yeah. And media definitely takes that one study and kind of creates a shock value or maybe even a fear or like an extreme.
Moderation doesn't sell, right? Extremes will always bring people's eyes to the page. Oh, what is that? What's the new thing now?
Yeah.
But it's not very exciting to say, oh, coconut oil in moderation, guys.
Yeah.
But that's really the way to live. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, that's...
Yeah, because there's always going to be the newest thing, the newest extreme, the newest trend. But most of the time, it's moderation, middle of the road type things that keep your body balanced and healthy.
You can just plug into Google the item that you want to be looking into, and then go to large organizations to see what they've decided. And why do I say that? You know, instead of following this one author that says everything you know is wrong. Because these organizations employ people to read massive amounts of information and also to interpret it. They are also trained in interpreting, like Courtney and I. So they're just standing their decisions on mounds of information that have been done over, gosh, research has been going on in food and exercise since, you can argue when it started in the 20s or the 40s or the 70s, but it's been a while now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. So no one human could possibly read everything out there anymore. So if you were to investigate, you'd need to, I would personally go and look for, you know, where the majority is standing on the science. That's what I would be doing if I were to make a decision or needing to make a decision. Yes. So I hope that that information helped you out a little bit in terms of how to digest media information about food and exercise and how to stay grounded in your decisions on those things. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks so much for helping me to explain this to the audience at large.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If you like this video, click like and share it with your friends. If you want more videos like this, subscribe. And if you want more tips on how to be fit and healthy for the long run and be finished with the fads, follow me at LuciFit.com. So Courtney,
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I'm glad. You look thrilled.
I'm like,